Hi everybody. I hope you're having a good week. I wanted to do a video today about synchronicity, being for your eyes only. And what I mean by that is that there are signs that the universe is sending to you, or your guides are sending to you, to let you know things and not other people. So this is coming from a place of a little bit of experience with that, so I wanted to do a video on that tonight. So right now, as most of you probably know, there's a lot of intense energy hitting the planet right now due to this shift into the 5th dimension. And Dolores Cannon actually said that we're going from the 3rd straight into the 5th, and that we're skipping the 4th because the 4th dimension is time. So I don't really know a whole lot about all of that stuff, but that's what she says. So I'll just leave that to the experts. So yeah, but that's great. It's also bringing about a lot of these synchronistic events for a lot of people because we're inhabitants of the planet, that we're living on the planet, and she's shifting, so we have to shift with her whether we know it or not. We're all going through this, so it's happening to everyone. So yeah, things like 1111, 333, 777, I've been seeing them everywhere on license plates. I do want to mention about the license plates and these kinds of events. Don't go looking for them. You'll know when it's meant for you. Like if someone actually, you're driving down the road and someone pulls out kind of in front of you, and you're like, well, before you get too upset about that, you know, look down and maybe there's a triple number or an angel number on that license plate. That's happened to me. So at that point, you'll be like, okay, I know for sure that that was meant for me. So yeah, don't go looking for them, because you could be in a parking lot and just be like, oh, and they're everywhere. You know, you can't really rely on that. But being for you, you know, if you're in a parking lot full of license plates. So anyway, yeah, receipts. I'm noticing when you're paying for stuff, the amount, the total will come up to a triple number. The change amount will be a triple number. Phone numbers will be an angel number, or just any number that resonates with you. It doesn't have to necessarily be a triple digit. You know, it could be your date of birth or the time you were born, or any number that means something to you. So also when you're thinking things, when you're thinking of something and it almost instantly, like the next day, or really soon afterwards, it comes into play in some kind of way. That's what I'm talking about here. And the more you pay attention, for me anyway, the more you pay attention to those things, the more you see them. And it's, I guess, the law of attraction. I don't know. I'm still pretty new at all of this stuff, but yeah, for me, the more I pay attention to it, the more it seems to happen. And then, you know, when you're in the beginning stages of an awakening, or the dark night of the soul, which I believe I've been in for a little while, but I won't go into that. But yeah, you go, so you're like, well, what does all this mean? And you go and you type it in, and you're like, what, you know, what does this triple numbers mean? Well, pretty much every one of them are going to say that big changes are coming. And we're all human here. We think, well, I mean, at least right now we are. We think we're human. We're in this form. So yeah, we're creatures of habit. And you take a creature of habit and you shake them up and you say, hey, big changes are coming. sometimes they'll be like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I don't know if I want these big changes. But yeah, that's what they'll say when you go in and look it up, what it means. And that can be pretty scary and intense. If it's not scary for you, it can be very intense, that energy, if you're paying attention to it, and it can feed your fear. And it does actually leave you wanting to talk to somebody. You want to talk to your friends about it. You want to ask them what they're experiencing. You want to not be alone with that. So yeah, that's what made me want to do this video tonight, actually, because I have a little bit of experience with that. There was some synchronistic events tied to a friend of mine that passed. She happened to pass the same day that my cat, one of my cats, Tiger, passed or crossed over. And it led me thinking, and I know that there's some static on that channel there, you know, in my head, because I was thinking that it was my fault. I had actually relapsed at that point. I had relapsed and I had done some drugs, and I was of course learning about all of the, like jumping timelines, which I don't really fully understand that. Because I'm 3 years into this awakening, so I'm not an expert here. I'm, just kind of doing the best I can. But yeah, the dots I was connecting weren't being my friend, and I was like, oh my gosh, did I cause my friend to die? And my cat? What's going on here? And so I went to a friend, not so much a friend anymore. We don't speak anymore at this point for some reason. But anyway, yeah, they and you could see the eyes glazing over and just kind of starting to look the other way and stuff when I would be explaining these things. And he looked at me and he said, you give yourself way too much credit. And I was like, ouch. That hurt. I was like, that was kind of mean. But I guess I needed that, really. I needed to hear that, because it wasn't for him. Those messages weren't for him. Those events weren't for him. Those events were for me, in my eyes only. So that's where I am right now with all of this. But there was a synchronistic thing that happened. It's very interesting with the movie Avatar. Avatar is now my favorite movie. I love that movie. I actually feel like that's probably true. It's really true. But yeah, my ex-boyfriend, when we were together, told me, watch that movie and tell me when you see the part that reminds me of you. He told me to watch it because I had never seen it at that time. So I watched it, and it was the part where Natiri was saving Jake out of the little machine thing he was in, and he was dying. She went and she picked him up, and he said, I see you. And there was a moment with the I see yous, and that apparently means my soul sees your soul, or my soul sees into your soul. I think the namaste or something like that. But yeah, that's what that means. Well, a few weeks ago, I'm laying in my bed and I'm reading. Well, I have a bunch of movies in some cubbies, and they were just stacked up there. They've been sitting there forever, collecting probably an inch of dust. Well, I'm sitting there reading in my bed, and all of a sudden the movie goes boop and just kind of flies down, and I'm just kind of like, did that just happen? And I'm alone. Of course I'm alone. So, and I'm just laying there kind of like looking at the case, and it was the Avatar case in particular, and I don't know if the case is the same, but it was the limited edition, the special edition case where it has Jake's eyes. on it, and that's the part that fell face up, and so the eyes were looking at me, and the words on the bottom, I looked it up and it said "I see you," and I'm like, oh my goodness. But anyway, I hope your eyes aren't glazing over at home. But yeah, I tried to kind of go over that with my family and my friends a little bit, and they just, I don't know if maybe they don't believe that a movie case would just fly like that, but that's not the only thing I've seen fly. I've seen other things like that as well, and not everybody experiences those paranormal kind of things. So I guess people just either don't believe you, or they've got to get home and make dinner for their 4 kids and go to the gym, and so you'll notice that their eyes will glaze, and they'll actually, when you're explaining it, they'll start kind of looking here and there, and they'll be like, yeah, really, wow. And it just almost becomes kind of condescending. So at that point, you need to kind of take a step back, or for me, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stop trying to explain it, because that's for my eyes only. So that is, the universe. This is a university universe. Think about words like that too, plays on words. But anyway, yeah, this is the universe trying to send you messages. This is your higher aspect of you, your higher self, your soul, your guides. They're trying to talk to you and let you know, hey, you're on the right path. You're doing good. You can look up the numbers and see, what they mean. I know in particular that for a while I was seeing some 666s, and that freaked me out, of course. It incited fear, and it was just them trying to tell me, or me trying to tell me, that my thoughts are unbalanced, and I'm just kind of like, oh gosh, I'm trying. But the point is that it's signs for you. It's a way to get your attention, not your friends and family. So just keep that in mind, and if you have a bad experience trying to explain it to them, just know that they'll notice their own things in their own time. So try to be patient with them, and yourself as well. And yes, you are that special. You should give yourself that much credit, because we are special people. Humans are not not just these measly little parasites like some people might like to think. We are very powerful beings. So we do need to give ourselves credit, and just be positive. Just stay really positive about it whenever you're seeing that. I in particular had an awakening, and then I think I've been going through a dark night at the same time ever since. So that's very difficult, but just know that you are aware. If you weren't on the right path, you wouldn't be so aware of it. So you're doing something right. And if you need to talk to somebody, I am available. So my name is Carrie, and my email address is kaekle99@gmail.com. And I guess that's all I have to say about that for now. And I will see you guys next week. Have a good night. Bye.